Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I thought in today's video I would dedicate a video to talk about the coronavirus and what it's like for me as a pregnant mum. If you guys are new to my channel, you will not know that I have a 23-month-old baby boy called Cole, and I am currently pregnant 27 weeks with a baby girl. And I'm pregnant during a pandemic, which I never predicted would happen in my life, never mind in a pregnancy. And I just really wanted to share my views on the whole subject and what it's actually like for me personally. And before I start this video, I would just like to say thank you to everybody on the front line that is currently fighting the coronavirus and putting their life on the line to save us and put our safety first. And I also want to say that everybody is entitled to an opinion, so if you don't like what I'm gonna say, then do not watch this video. I am in no way here to offend anybody, and I'm in no way here to upset anybody, but I feel like because of the coronavirus and everything happening, people always have something to say, whether you're going to talk about your experience, how you're feeling, if you're food shopping, what you've got in your cupboards, if you're bulk buying, anything like that. At this moment in time, everybody's going to have something to say. So I'm prepared for that, but I just wanted to dedicate a video and tell you what it's actually like to be me right now, what I'm feeling, and my thoughts towards the whole situation. So when this started happening in January, I know it came about I think before Christmas, but I started hearing more about it in January, and I was due to go to the Jonas Brothers concert, and I actually sat there and thought then it's going to be cancelled because of the coronavirus. And I know it wasn't like huge in the UK then, I don't even know if it even was in the UK. I kept thinking that that show was going to be cancelled, so I've always had a rough idea for a few months that it was going to come to England. Did I know it was going to be this bad and that we'd have a pandemic? Probably not, but I did take it seriously. I know a lot of people didn't take it seriously, but I definitely did. And I predicted that we would go into lockdown, and I knew that schools were going to close and restaurants were going to close, and everybody kept telling me, oh, don't be stupid, it's not going to happen, you know, you live in a small town, it's not going to happen to us, it's just going to be big cities like London and things like that that are here. And they were wrong. It's the whole of the UK and the whole of the world that is currently fighting this coronavirus. And I'm pregnant, so that comes into it massively. So when coronavirus started being a big thing in the UK, you noticed that the shelves were being emptied, which was really hard for me as a mum. My child is nearly 2, he turns 2 next month, so he isn't at that stage at the minute where he's going to ask me questions, which in a way I'm thankful for, because I know there's a lot of parents in my situation with kids a little bit older that are asking questions as to why they can't see their family, as to why the stores are empty, as to why shelves are being cleared and things like that. So in a way I'm happy that I don't have that, because I would just feel so bad for just having to tell him what's actually happening. I think because they're so young they just don't understand, and it's really heartbreaking. So before lockdown, obviously, don't worry guys, we're staying at home. Before lockdown we went to Tesco because I needed a few bits and pieces, and we was already being careful before lockdown came into place. So we was only going shopping for necessities and food shopping and things like that. We was just going to the shops for necessities and things like that. So we was doing food shopping and things. So I went to Tesco because I needed a few bits, and I knew that the stores were being cleared, especially the pasta aisle and especially the tissue aisle. Pasta and tissue is a very hard thing to get in the UK at the minute. If you have those things, you're very lucky, because majority of stores are actually putting their prices up on nearly every single item that you buy. I think it's highly ridiculous, because people are struggling enough, and for people to put their prices up in stores I think is really wrong, and I don't agree with that at all. I think people know that there's so many people out there in the world right now that have got no job, no income, nothing, and they can put the prices up knowing that people have no choice but to pay it because they need it. I think that's pretty disgusting in my opinion and shouldn't be happening. So when I went into Tesco, I've actually mentioned this on a vlog, so if you guys don't follow me you won't know this, but when we went into Tesco I actually needed some tissue. I have never bought Bide before, and I wasn't going to start because of the coronavirus pandemic. I think some people thought, oh well, everyone else is panic buying, I'm going to have to do the same thing. We didn't go through that phase and we didn't do that. So I didn't go into Tesco and buy the whole of Tesco, I literally just went in there for what I needed. So I needed some tissue roll, so I went in there for tissue. The aisle was literally nearly empty. There were a few packs of tissue rolls, majority of them were massive packs of tissue, and I only wanted a 4-pack, which is usually what we get anyway. We usually go for the cheapest one just because at the end of the day it's toilet roll, it doesn't bother me. So we usually go for that one, but there was none of that. There was one that was nearly £2, which obviously wasn't bad at all, but I saw a woman next to me and she had 2 trolleys. She was with another woman and she got 2 trolleys worth of tissue. And I'm not lying here, I'm being genuinely serious. She had 2 trolleys full of tissue. I just sat there and thought, what do you need with all of that tissue? That is what confused me when this pandemic started hitting the UK quite hard, because people were going in and buying loads of tissue roll. I sat there and thought to myself, there is no way on this earth that tissue roll is going to save you from the coronavirus. So I was really confused as to why this was happening. Now people clearly thought that tissue roll was going to make some kind of difference. But personally for me, I don't really think it's going to make a difference. So the tissue was nearly gone when I went into Tesco, and then we went to the pasta aisle. Literally 1 pack of pasta was in the whole of the pasta aisle. Tins, next to nothing. Freezers, absolutely horrific. Half the freezers were literally empty. And it was just so heartbreaking because I couldn't get the majority of the food that I wanted to get for my food shop, which was really annoying because obviously I don't live near a supermarket, so I have to rely on, currently, because of the lockdown, the shops near me, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. But I travelled all the way to another town to get some shopping and physically go shopping because I couldn't get a home delivery, so that's when home deliveries and slots started going mega fast. We usually do get our food shopping delivered just because I have a toddler and a few health conditions, so it does make it quite difficult for me to go around shopping, especially with a toddler. It's hard enough just having a toddler, never mind other stuff on top of that. I just think it's really important that people do consider others when they're going into a supermarket and buying loads of food, because I understand that you've got your family to feed, but there's also other people that have got their families to feed as well, and just heartbreaking to see people emptying the stores when I sit there and think to myself, if you're emptying the stores, what am I meant to feed my kid? Do you know what I mean? I can't get hold of anything and it's ridiculous. It was honestly ridiculous. They didn't even have that much veg, they didn't have that much potato or anything, and I just sat there and thought, what the hell am I meant to feed my kid? There was hardly any fresh meat. It was horrific. And to sit there and have to think as a mum, how are you going to put food on the table? How are you going to provide for them? How are you going to put food in your little ones' tummies? Is honestly heartbreaking. It got to a point where I was rationing out food. So the food that we had in the cupboards, I was eating like Cole's portion of food because I wanted to make sure that we had enough to feed him again. I wasn't eating my usual portion, I was eating what he would usually eat, because I wasn't willing to go into a supermarket and not be able to get anything. So I knew that the food that we had in, I just had to make sure that I ate his portion instead of eating my own portion, because the food would last longer. Food supplies came a lot harder. Also, before I continue this video, I also do want to say I'm very sorry for how this video is going to go. I'm probably going to talk about one thing, then go on to a completely different thing, and then talk about a completely different thing as well. Obviously, the biggest thing along with being a mum is being pregnant and being a mum as well. So not only am I trying to get nappies for my toddler, I'm trying to get nappies for my newborn baby. And I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I would never go into a store and take the last of something knowing that my baby isn't due for another 13 weeks. And I'm aware of that. I am very aware of that. For example, I am going to be bottle feeding in the hospital when I give birth. Obviously, I will breastfeed first, I always do, but then I will most likely go on to bottle feeding. So I needed the ready-made starter packs, and I couldn't find any in any supermarket. So I ordered some online the other day, because obviously we're in complete lockdown now, so you can only go out to the shops for essentials, and I don't live near anywhere, so I wasn't able to get hold of them. So I went online onto Boots and I ordered some from there. If it said on Boots that there were only 2 of this product left, or even 1 of this product left, I would not buy it, because I am not due for another 13 weeks, and I know there's probably a mum out there that would want those, and I would never want to take that away from somebody that doesn't have as long left as me. But that also doesn't mean that I need to not buy stuff because there's other people that need it. Do you know what I mean? This is the thing with this pandemic. I got quite a lot of hate actually off a grown woman because I asked somebody where there was size 1 nappies. She took it as I was begging for nappies, and I literally posted on a group, does anybody know where I can get size 1 nappies? And I'm not here to call anybody out or anything like that, but this was a very grown woman and she was really rude to me, and all I want to do is provide for my child. That is all I want to do, and I want to provide for my unborn child as well. And I also have a right, as do all the pregnant women and the mums, to go into a shop and buy supplies for my child. I have a right to do that, and I shouldn't feel as though I can't buy something because somebody else might need it. Do you know what I mean? I've already explained that if I went into a shop and, for example, I needed formula for when the baby arrived and I had 5 weeks to go, I would leave that on the shelf and let somebody else get it because it's the last one. But again, that doesn't mean that I need to let my child go without just to let somebody go with. Do you know what I mean? I'm also going to be a mum to 2 kids soon, and I need to provide for her. I can't get out, especially now. I can't get out at all. I'm having to rely on deliveries online to order everything for my baby, and it's really hard because I'm having so many people say to me, oh, you shouldn't be ordering deliveries. I feel bad for the people that are still delivering, putting their lives at risk and things like that. And let me just say, I'm 100% grateful that people are still delivering and things like that. And I would obviously never intentionally go out of my way to order a load of crap because I know that in this time, people are really at risk. I'm not willing to put someone more at risk because I decided one day that I wanted a cute little pillow for my sofa. I'm not going to do that, but I am ordering essentials because I have a right to order essentials for my baby. I'm due in 13 weeks. This baby could come really anytime, realistically. Hopefully not anytime soon, but after 37 weeks the baby can practically come whenever, if not sooner. Honestly does depend, you just don't know when you're pregnant. And it's hard because I'm struggling to get hold of anything. I've not got the baby a lot of clothes at all, and mainly because I really don't know what to do in terms of clothes. Obviously I don't want to stock up on sizes 3 to 6 when they're not going to be in 3 to 6 at first. I don't know what size the baby's going to be, so I'm really struggling in terms of sizes. Do I get a newborn? Do I get first size? Do I get a 0 to 3 months? So I've kind of just been swapping between the 3 when I can get hold of things. It's definitely really hard. I did sit there and say to my mum the other week, I sat there and thought, how am I going to provide for this child? How? Because if there's nothing on the shelves now and I'm struggling to get nappies for my toddler, how am I going to get nappies for a newborn baby? Do you know what I mean? And obviously I understand there's going to be somewhere that does nappies, but at the minute I'm not finding a lot of the stuff that I need, and I'm just being patient with it, and I'm just letting it be what it is, because it's out of my control. It really is. And there's probably so many mums in my situation, but having to sit there as a mum and not know if you can put clothes on the back of your child because you can't physically find anything for them, because loads of things are out of stock, not being able to provide for your child, not having the correct necessities that you need to have a newborn baby, it is a lot of work. I have been trying my hardest where I can to buy the baby whatever they need, and I was quite lucky because I've been buying for the baby for quite a while. We haven't been obviously going completely mad because I'm not that fortunate to be able to do that. But I have prepared myself, and I did buy a Moses basket, a jumperoo, a bouncer, a baby seat and things like that before the lockdown came into place. So I was quite fortunate when it came to that. But it's just really heartbreaking because I just don't know what to do. I'm trying my hardest to stay positive and think to myself, you know what, it's okay. People are like, oh yeah, just leave it till you're further along. But then what about if things get worse and I genuinely can't get a hold of anything? And it's just hard because as a mum, I want to be able to provide for my kids, and I want my kids to be able to have what they need. And at the minute, that is becoming really, really hard. I never thought that I'd be pregnant through a pandemic where I would be having a toddler indoors 24/7. It's hard. Obviously, we are quite lucky in the sense that we do have a garden, but at the bottom of my garden there's a gate, so Cole thinks that we can go out of the gate and go for a walk. So if he does that, that tends to be our daily walk. So if he leaves the garden, that is our daily walk over. If he leaves the garden, we then go for a daily walk, then come back in. My child is one of those people that doesn't really like to be on the garden, so it's quite hard in that sense, because I do not mind Cole going outside if he'll stay on the garden, because I don't obviously want him going off the garden again. We are entitled to one walk per day, and we can go to the shop for essentials and things like that. So we've been using our daily walk at the minute to shop for essentials, because obviously I can't go shopping with a toddler full on. So if I need something, for example, say I need stuff for my fridge and freezer, I won't do that all in one day. I'll do that gradually through the week, because Cole walks to the shop, so it's only at the bottom of my road, but it's really stressful to walk with a toddler and shop and things like that, because he honestly does have a mind of his own. So it's really hard to be able to do that. But I'm just trying my hardest to battle through this and to be positive. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm having days recently where I just sit and think to myself, how am I coping? How am I coping? Because I genuinely don't know. There has been days recently, especially the last couple of weeks, I'd say more the last week, I've really been struggling to push myself to do anything, because it's just constant mess, constantly. And I'm also feeling bad because I'm not playing with Cole, because then I'm having to clean up and I'm having to do this. I'm also having to sort out food. I'm also having to make sure that he doesn't take stuff out the cupboard and throw it on the floor, because one of Cole's favourite things to do is go into the cupboard, grab something, open it and throw it all over the floor. And food is very, very important at the minute, and it's very hard to come by as well. So I need to make sure that he doesn't do that. He's going through a lot of juice at the minute, which is really hard, because he's drinking a lot at the minute, which is a good thing, obviously. But then I'm having to go to the shop, which I am getting quite nervous about, because I feel like I don't know who's been in that shop before me. I don't know if they've had COVID-19 symptoms. I don't know if they're self-isolating properly, if they need to be self-isolating. I don't know if somebody's carrying the virus and gone into the shop and gave it to the man, and then he's passed it on to us. There are so many questions every single day that run through my mind, and I could sit here hours and hours and hours and talk about it, because I have so much I want to say and so much that I think needs to be said, and I just don't know where to start, because there's that much that I feel like I want to say and I want to get out there. But it's hard, because there's so much to this situation. You just think, well, where do you start? I'm trying to support local businesses at the minute, so we're trying to order from local businesses for food supplies and things like that, because I do think that's really important to keep those going, because I know it's businesses like that that are going to suffer the most during this pandemic. Also living with a lot of guilt, a lot of guilt, and it is due to the pandemic. I can't leave my house. We are fortunate enough to have a garden, like I've said. Some people don't have that, but we do not go on the garden very often at all, because, like I've mentioned, I just can't seem to keep him on the garden. And obviously he has to stay on the garden. He doesn't understand, so we can't go out there a lot. But I'm also filled with a lot of guilt, because I am having to keep my child indoors. And I'm having to not plan anything for his birthday, because I don't even know if it will really go ahead if we do plan anything. I don't know where we'll be spending his birthday. I don't know if we'll be able to go out for his birthday, or if we'll be inside in lockdown. I really don't know about a lot of things right now, and it is playing on my mind, because obviously nothing is certain at the minute, and you can't even predict anything. When I'm filming this, we're still currently in lockdown. We're on the 3rd week of lockdown, or 4th week, one of those. But I definitely don't see easing anytime soon, and I just feel so bad, because I'm pregnant. I'm not going to be able to enjoy this pregnancy as much as I could have enjoyed Cole's. And obviously I can't enjoy it to an extent as I enjoyed Cole's, because he was first child and I had no other responsibilities when I was pregnant with Cole. But I now have a toddler and I'm pregnant, so I am very occupied anyway. But in terms of like being able to go out, like I want to show off my bump. I want to let people know that I am so proud to be able to be a parent to another tiny human being. And yes, I might only be 19 years old and already have one child and another one on the way, but that doesn't mean anything, and I'm just so blessed to be able to carry a beautiful baby again, because not everybody's lucky enough to do that, and I just feel fortunate enough that I am able to have another baby. I feel bad that I'm not going to be able to spend that one-on-one time going out with Cole. I'm not going to be able to enjoy that time before the end of my pregnancy. I don't know when this lockdown is going to be over. We're currently in April and I'm doing July, so it's not long at all. It's 3 months and it's scary. It's really scary, because I just don't know where the months are going to take us. I don't know what's going to happen. Next month everything could calm down, but everything could also be the same, and you just can't predict anything right now. I just feel so much guilt, because I just think I could be taking him to soft play right now, or I could be planning a trip to the zoo, or we could have gone on a night away together, or we could have gone on a little holiday break before the baby. And I'm just filled with so much guilt, because I just feel so bad that I'm not able to do that with him. And it's even worse to the point that I'm going to come home one day with a new baby and he's not going to have any idea what the hell is going on, because obviously he's still so young, and I just don't want him to feel left out. And I think that's really concerning me at the minute, because I would never intentionally go out of my way to make any of my kids feel left out at all. But I know welcoming another child into the world is going to be a big thing, and it might be a really hard thing for Cole to adjust to. He might be absolutely amazing and adjust fine, but he also might not, and we need to prepare for both of those. And it's just hard knowing that I could be giving birth during a pandemic. I'm pregnant during one, so it's likely that I could give birth during one. Obviously hospitals have a lot of rules and regulations now regarding appointments, visitors and things like that. I have to attend all my antenatal appointments on my own. I'm not allowed anybody with me, which is an issue, because I don't have anyone to look after my baby apart from obviously my baby's dad. But then you've also got to think, what about if he comes down with it? Then what am I meant to do? It's a situation. And I also have an appointment in a few weeks for a glucose test, which I actually do need to get in contact with them for, because I've got no way to get there. And I need to speak to somebody about it, because they put all these rules and regulations in place, and it means I potentially might not be able to attend an appointment that I really do need to go to. So it's a hard situation, and I feel like I'm constantly in this blur of what do I do, because I really don't know. I'm always constantly trying to do the right thing, and I just feel as though at the minute I don't know what the right thing is right now, to be honest. And I think the last thing I expected was to be pregnant during a coronavirus pandemic. I mentioned to my mum a few weeks ago that I've never lived through anything like this in my life. I've never known anything like this to happen before. It just blows my mind that we're living through a future history class, and so many kids in probably like maybe 100 years or in 50 years are going to look back and learn about this, learn about what we lived through. And it's just scary that this is happening, because you don't know what the future holds. You know, we could all get coronavirus at some point. We might not all get coronavirus at one point. I do not want coronavirus at all. To be honest, I don't think anyone does, but I think a lot of people have the attitude of, if we get it, we get it. I really don't like when people have that attitude, because I know someone personally that has had coronavirus, and he has said he genuinely thought he was going to die, and he didn't care if he did, because he felt that poorly that he just didn't want to be alive. He didn't. He couldn't breathe. It was like somebody that was 20 stone was sitting on your chest. That's how bad the breathing was. And he's over the worst of it now, but he's still not okay. But he said the NHS were fantastic. So again, thank you so much to the NHS, because you're literally putting your life on the line every single day to protect us and save us, while putting yourselves in risk as well. So I think we need to thank all the NHS, all the frontline staff, people working in supermarkets, people delivering your parcels, and everybody like that fighting on the front line to protect us and provide for us during this virus is incredible, and you honestly deserve an award for it. Honestly, I don't think you're given enough credit as you honestly deserve. Another thing that I did want to touch up on is nursery. So obviously schools and everything are closed right now, and Cole is due to start in September. I didn't really, well obviously I've always known that Cole was going to start nursery in September, and he's going through his taster sessions in August. Again, nothing is finalised with obviously this pandemic happening, but it's hard because I'm kind of in two minds about what to do with him. If I feel like the coronavirus is still a big thing, even though kids and that are allowed back to school, I'm going to make the decision as a parent to choose whether I want him to go to nursery or not. And I'm not going to get in the way of his learning or anything like that. This is his first time going to nursery. I do think it's important. But if we have to wait another term for him to start nursery, then I will wait, because I think it's really important that I make sure that he's around people that are in good health, and he's got less chance of catching the virus. Again, it's in September. We do not know what the world's going to be like. We don't know what the world's going to be like a week from now. So we really don't know what the world is going to be like in a few months' time, and nothing is certain. So it's definitely something I'm just going to have to ride out and kind of see what happens. I might be happy to send him in September, but I also might not be happy to send him as well. And I was not sending Cole because I am pregnant. I was honestly just sending Cole because I honestly think it's the best thing for his development. But if I don't think it's safe to take him, and I still feel really on edge about the coronavirus and the pandemic, then I will not let him go, and I will just wait a little bit longer until I take him to nursery. And that's okay. At the end of the day, I'm here to protect my kids. I'm here to protect myself, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do in my power to protect them. It's hard because I live by myself with my toddler. My partner doesn't live with us, so it is really hard, because if we need something, I'm having to rely on everybody else to do that for me. And I feel bad because I'm also then putting their lives in risk. because I'm getting them to get stuff for me. And I'm so grateful for my mum, because she's really helped me when it comes to like my food shopping and things like that. So I really am grateful to my mum. I honestly owe it to her. But then I'm also sat living with the guilt of, what if I'm making her do this and someone's carrying the virus and then she gets it? That's heartbreaking. And it's kind of one of those things that I'm just filled with so much guilt during this time. And I honestly just hope it gets better, and I hope we resume back to normality, or as normal as things can be, because it's not a phase I ever want to live through again. I just want things to go back to normal. I want everybody to stay safe. Please, 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 I can't urge you enough. Please stay home. Honestly, like, I can't even comprehend how important it is. Please, like, you don't need to go and see your mum, you don't need to see your dad, you don't need to have a drink with your neighbours, you don't. Please stay indoors, stay away from people. If you want to talk to your neighbour, obviously social distancing applies, so stay away from them when you are talking to them. And just please, just look after yourself, because don't be that person that goes out, ignores the social distancing rules, then a member of your family or even yourself gets coronavirus and you're living with the guilt. You don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that. I just honestly can't urge to you enough, like, please, please, please take this seriously, because it honestly is a serious thing, and I do not want any of you to lose loved ones because you didn't listen. Please, 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 honestly, I urge you, like, honestly, I cannot say this enough. Stay at home, protect yourself, protect your family. Everybody is at risk. It is not just the people that are high risk or vulnerable to this coronavirus. Everybody's at risk. Anybody can get it. Pregnant women can get it. Newborn babies can get it. Kids can get it. Teenagers, old people, middle-aged people, young adults. Anybody can get this virus. Please don't be stupid. Do everything that you're meant to do, because the longer we follow these rules and listen to everything the government is telling us, hopefully we can fight this virus together, because I know there are so many people that are just getting so fed up right now. We're all fed up. None of us want to continue living through this, but unfortunately it's just the reality that we're having to at the minute. And I just hope that if you learn anything from this video, is that the biggest one being you stay at home, because that is so important. And honestly, I honestly wish I could shout it from the roof, because I just don't feel like enough people are listening right now. But please stay at home. It is so important. Yes, it's boring. Yes, there's nothing to do. You're probably watching the same film with your children every single day. They're probably getting bored, but this isn't going to last forever. Well, at least I hope not anyway. Please just take this seriously, because it really does need to be taken seriously. And thank you to everybody in my life that is helping me and helping me get through this, helping me get stuff for the baby, because honestly it's so scary living through a pandemic when you're pregnant, because I really don't know what to do. If I'm completely honest, I don't know what the right thing is to do. And it's just truly heartbreaking that I'm having to go through this, and I'm having to, not gonna lie, feel bad for everything I do and be made to feel bad for everything I do. I need to provide for my kids just as much as you guys need to provide for you and your family. So I'm just trying to do that. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to leave anybody without anything, and I'm not trying to get abuse off anybody. But everyone's going to have their opinions at the end of the day, and I just want you all to stay safe, stay home, only go out when you need to go out, protect your kids, protect everybody, but also protect the people that obviously are most vulnerable, because yes, you might get coronavirus and it might be really mild, but the person that's in the exact same health as you, that you live with, might get it a massive ton more. So please just take it seriously, and I honestly urge you, just stay home. Be thankful for everybody that you've got, and be thankful that we're alive, that we're breathing, because at this moment in time that is so important. And I don't ever want anybody to live with regret because they didn't listen and something bad happened, because I can't imagine that even happening. So just please honestly stick to the rules, because honestly we will eventually get through this together if we all stick together. Remember to always be kind. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to have down days. It's okay to have a bad day. That's okay. Don't make people feel bad for it. Everybody has a reason for doing what they do. I don't know, there's just so much things I could say, and this video is probably so long, so I'm going to end it here. But I just hope this makes people realise that we are all human and it isn't a nice thing to live through, especially for myself with being pregnant and not knowing if I'm even going to have the right things for the baby at the right time, if she's going to come into the world and I'm going to have next to nothing for her and she's not even old enough to understand why I haven't got half the stuff I've got for her. But I just hope that I can do whatever I can to make sure that I do get everything, but I know I'm not the only one in this position. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in my next video.